This is Josh Brigette here with head coach Nick Rulewicz in his third season at the helm of the Western Panthers. And coach, successful season last year, 6-4, got back to the playoffs, lost in that opening round to Jackson High. But you set the standard of returning to the playoffs and becoming a consistent playoff team. Tell me about what that means for your program. Of the expectation, it's no longer an exception to make the playoffs; it's an expectation.
Yeah, at Western High School, that has become the expectation, get into the playoffs, and we want to win at all levels. We want to win at the conference level, we want to get into the playoffs, and my first year we won a district championship, the second in school history, so we want to continue to surpass that. Getting into the playoffs is not just something that is unique to Western anymore. It's become the expectation, and we're embracing that.
Making the playoffs is the expectation, but you think this team has a chance to make a deep run in the playoffs. You got a lot of talent that comes back to this team. Can you talk about what this team needs to do this year to not only get back to the playoffs, but make a deeper run?
Yeah, we need to just really focus in on being the best version of ourselves every day. One thing that I've challenged with our guys is be the best version of yourself today. Tomorrow's another day. Step on the field, get in the classroom, be a champion, and that's really our goal, is to be champions in everything. We see it on social media all the time, champions everywhere, the Panther way. So that's really been our calling card as far as what our expectations are for our players. And so as we continue through the season, I think that's going to really help us enjoy the journey a little bit more versus having our eyes set on something far down the tunnel and far down the path. If we focus in on being just our best version of ourselves each day, that'll take care of itself.
Let's talk about your offense. You got 8 starters coming back, a lot of experience in your offensive line, and some of your skilled players. You're going to be new at quarterback. Talk about your expectations for your offense this year.
We have a great opportunity to surpass last year's total. Last year we averaged over 26 points a game, primarily run-based offense. We struggled to pass the ball all throughout the season. This year we have a quarterback come up from junior varsity, Reed Myers. He's bringing a load of talent, very skilled player. Just getting him some experience early on I think will help not only his confidence but also the continuity of our offense, being able to blend the run and the pass a little bit better than we did last year. Having 8 offensive starters back, including 4 on the offensive line, will be very helpful. Getting Reed acclimated, being able to have running backs such as Trudell and Mitchell to hand the ball off to, receivers such as Rudd Jones and Laporte, and Berdner to throw to, and Ben Parrott. So I think that there's a lot of confidence on our offense moving into this season, and I also feel like they'll help Reed out as we start the season.
And on the flip sides, on the defensive side, you bring back the equal amount of starters,
Yes.
A lot of talent, especially that linebacker group that comes back intact, which was very talented from last year. What are your expectations for your defense?
Oh my goodness, it's crazy to think that we have 4 linebackers coming back. I had a conference coach tell me, "Is that kid a 5th year?" I said, No. He's just been here that long on the varsity. So we've been young on defense and offense for the last couple of years, mainly on defense. But linebackers like Mitchell Williams and Landon Heavey and Gibson French and Luke Teachout, they're 3- and 4-year guys for us. So they're coming back for their senior year. Very strong group. They work well together too. It's been neat to see how they grow together within that position group in that linebacker room. They challenge each other. They make themselves better. They communicate really well, and they run our defense on the field. Kid like Landon He's like having another coach on the field. I mean, this is his 4th year on the varsity. Our defensive line, very strong, very stout. We returned 2 starters from last year, Aiden Duncan and Brennan Faber. And then defensive backfield, Jack Laporte's the leader back there. He's one of our captains as well, does a great job. So really gaining some experience in our defensive backfield will be key for us early on and being able to shut down passing games. Kid like DJ Van Riper came up last year for us in the playoffs and did a great job. So I like our defense. I truly feel like they've got the opportunity to be something very special.
And then, Coach, benefit for you. You also bring back experience at the specialist positions. So, talk about that opportunity to have Berdner coming back and the others that are around him.
Yes, we have 2 outstanding long snappers. We've got James Messer and Kobe Tripp. Both of those guys have been to different camps, various camps for long snapping, and they're getting a lot of college interest. And then to have a kicker and punter like Noah Berdner come back is just huge. Such a weapon, being able to kick the ball into the end zone on kickoffs regularly. He averaged almost 40 yards a punt last year when we had to punt. So being able to flip the field and get those hidden yards and also make sure that we put our defense in the best possible position to get the ball back for our offense, that's huge. But Noah is someone who really works hard at the craft of kicking and punting, and he's going to have some special things. He's only going to be a junior this year.
Let's talk about that schedule. It's a tough one. You start out with 2 great teams, the Divine Child, who's a Division IV district champion last year. Then you go to Detroit Country Day comes here, the Division 5 regional champion last year, and then Richmond Gull Lake, a non-conference opponent there. So just talk about your schedule and how it lines up once you get into I-8 play as well.
Sure. We obviously always keep in mind when we schedule things, playoff points. Obviously, being able to play Division 3 or Division 4 or higher schools those first couple weeks, I think benefits us in terms of being able to get home field advantage later on once we get into the playoffs. So having those two teams, we played Detroit Country Day very close last year. We played a good physical game against them. We just didn't finish. And then having Dearborn Divine Child come onto our schedule game 1. We're looking forward to that matchup as well. They're very talented, but I think that both of those teams will prepare us well for our conference schedule and get us rolling early. I think it gets us gets our attention early as far as we have to be on our A game. Otherwise, we're going to start off really slow, and so I think that it motivates our players to be very sharp early on in the season.
Head coach Nick Rulewicz for the Western Panthers. They start off the year with Divine Child and then Country Day, and then I'll jump right into I-8 play. Coach, best of luck.
Hey, thank you, Josh.